but we are in the beach.
So today is March 29th, 2024, which officially marks the beginning of Semana Santa here in Ecuador, which is always celebrated on the last Friday of the month of March. And today, we, as in you guys, me, and my friends from a motorcycle community here in Puerto Viejo, are going to go on a little bit of a road trip. And where exactly are we going? I actually have no idea. I actually only know one of the 4 different places we're going to go to today, and that place is Montañita. The other places, one is actually paradise, according to my friends, and the other is literally an island. And according to my friends, they said we only need $70 or less for this whole experience. How are we gonna survive with only $70 or less? You're gonna have to come with us in order to find out. So, without further ado, let's get this started. Now, there's no doubt that riding on motorcycles at 4:30 in the morning during a holiday weekend is dangerous. However, in order to circumvent this danger, my friends from the motorcycle community gave us some indications. No, not those indications. They gave us indications of how we were going to ride, and days prior, they had already sent me the signals we would be using to communicate while driving. I, of course, drew my own version in order to study, but reluctantly decided to use their version. Let's not ask why. So once all of that was out of the way, we took off, only to realize we needed to tank up. And no, not the second definition of tank up.
Alright, so our first stop is literally a gas station because we have to put in some gas. So first stop and first expense, gas station, I'm going to tank it with $5 of gas. It's actually technically the second expense because I also bought a bag of chicle a few days prior.
After tanking up, we were on our way to our first and furthest destination. In order to give you an idea of the distance, let's use the distance to Montañita as a point of reference since it's the only place I know from the 3 places we'll be visiting on this trip. The distance from Puerto Viejo to Montañita is approximately 153.4 kilometers or 2 hours and 53 minutes away from where we started. The place we're going to first is 22.7 kilometers away from Montañita, which is about 30 minutes away, meaning the whole trip at best would be 175.9 kilometers long and last for around 3 hours and a half. Regardless of whether that does or doesn't sound like a long distance, the fact remains that the trip was full of risks. For starters, we were all on motorcycles and running on 2 hours of sleep. Yay, overexcitement or anxiety, maybe both. Then of course you can't forget it's a holiday, and that always means increased traffic and accidents, which we did see at some point. The risks were many, and turning back was always an option. But where there's possible risk, there's also possible reward. And what better reward could there have been than the amazing scenery that we witnessed along our trip? Beautiful skies overhead, breathtaking ocean views, and even lush greenery that surrounded us on our path, all of which we experienced even better since we were on our motorcycles. So this is the well-known spot, the entrance to Puerto Lopez, where people always stop to take pictures just like they're doing with our friends there right now. And earlier we saw some people taking pictures while they were in their car. They got out and they literally just took some pictures. So we're almost at our first destination, so be patient with us and follow along. After our photo session, which if you want to see more of, I'll be posting on Instagram, so check that out. But after that, we continued our journey to the promised land. Unfortunately, before we could make it there, my friends were getting hungry, so we decided to make a pit stop in Montañita to grab a bite to eat. All right, so we've arrived at our first pit stop, our first food stop. We're here eating with my friends here. Say hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello. Yeah, we all ordered some breakfast. Even I ordered something to eat as well, because just to make it a little bit more realistic, I actually ordered the patacones and with eggs. Everyone else, weirdly enough, ordered American style breakfast. So, you know, kind of weird. I ordered the Ecuadorian food, everyone else ordered American style. But yeah, you know, whatever. We're very close to our, I guess, official first destination. We're about 30 minutes away, according to what they've told me. So, stay tuned for that.
Vinicio dice que es mentira, que coman nomás. Vamos a la foto.
The patacón. Gracias. All right, so we ate, we paid, now we're about to head out. Adventure time. At this point, the adventure to the furthest destination was short-lived since we were really close. Upon arriving, we did of course have to leave our motorcycles parked in a garage, which cost $2. And using the bathroom for number one cost an extra 25 cents. But after organizing everything and getting changed, we were officially at our first destination. Welcome to the beach town, Aang. So we're at our first beach location, which is a small town called Aang. And here, my friends say there's something special about the water that makes this place something of a little paradise. So we're gonna check out the water in a bit. Right now, we're with my friends and we're chilling out under a parasol that we had to rent. It costs $5 to rent the parasol, which you can, of course, if you're with someone, split amongst everyone. And we're just gonna be here and have fun. So let's go check out the water and see exactly what's so special about it. All right, so we're walking towards the water. And really, I mean, maybe I'm just not good at noticing these things, but I don't see anything too crazy about it. Okay, I'm kidding. The water is really nice. It's really clear. Now, if you're like me and you don't consider yourself an expert at beaches, my friends did explain that the reason why this beach is paradise is because it is in a gulf, or it is a gulf, and that means that there are no waves, which means that there is no sand that's being kicked up, which for any average or normal beachgoer, you would understand that that means that you don't have to worry about being covered in sand the moment you leave the water. Which of course leads to a much more pleasant and sand-free experience. And of course it also reduces the risk of danger that comes with having waves at a beach. Basically, you don't have to worry about getting dragged into the ocean by a wave. Over there in the distance, you can see one of our friends. They're gone to go check the water out. Yeah. And of course, Caesar and Clayito. This phone might be waterproof, according to Apple, but I'm not willing to test that out. Too hard to get another one over here.
But we are in the beach.
Woo! Everything else is as you would imagine. Beach time activities, people playing soccer, or probably indoor. I also saw some people going on a boat trip, because apparently here in Aang, if you take a specific boat trip, which costs around $90 and up, I think I heard the max is like 130, depends on how many people you're going with. You can go check out this statue of Christ that's apparently underwater. So they give you this kind of like diving course, and you can also go check out the statue that's underwater. Obviously, $90 is not in my budget, even worse, $130, so we can't do that today, but if you're interested in doing that, then you know, it's always an option. Seeing as how $90 was way over our budget, we decided to do something that was much more economically reasonable, and that was what they call here the banana. It normally costs $3, but since Cleito is a master negotiator, we got to do it for $2.50. And basically what you do is you get on a long inflatable tube, get taken further into the ocean by a boat that pulls the tube, and after a certain point, the boat that is pulling the tube speeds up and makes a sharp turn, which usually throws you and everyone else off the tube. Similarly to the tagada that you see at fairs here in Ecuador, this activity is mainly for those who like adrenaline or very aggressive activities, since it's typical to get hit in some way by either the impact with the water, the person in front of you, or both of these things. Regardless, we had a ton of fun. So we just finished swimming in the water here in Aang. We even went on the thing that's called the banana. Had a lot of fun. I'm the only guy who goes to the beach with shoes, apparently. And right now we're gonna head over to our resting spot. Well, first we gotta head back to the motorcycles. Then we're gonna go to Montañita, which is where we have the place that we're gonna stay at. So stay with us so we can show you exactly what that's like and talk about what that costs. And yeah, keep enjoying this adventure. Before leaving, we did of course have to pay to use the shower at the garage area, which cost another 50 cents. And I also bought a mini soap, which cost another 50 cents. After we left, we decided to grab a bite to eat before heading to Montañita, since some of the roadside restaurants tend to be a bit cheaper than eating in the actual city. Alright, so on our way to Montañita, we stopped by to get some food. As you can see here, I ordered a dish of shrimp, and this is like a lunch, the almuercito. So it costs $3 over here, pretty much on the way to Montañita. If we would have ordered it at the place that we were at, which was Aang, my friends were telling me that it would be more expensive. I ordered shrimp, but my friend Caesar, he ordered fish. Provecho. That's it. So we're gonna eat, and then afterwards we're heading over to Montañita. And yes, my nose is definitely burnt. Use sunscreen, more than I did. Buen provecho a todos. Gracias. Provecho. Enjoy your meal. We have the beach in the background. So this is actually a really nice place to eat. This restaurant, Petita, which like I said has this really nice ocean view, is on the way to Aang, or you could say on the way back from Aang to Montañita. So if you want to try it out, I highly recommend it because the view is really nice and the food, not a lot, but it's good. Once we finished eating and paying, we were finally on our way to Montañita, our second official stop on this trip. Luckily, we were really close already, so we just had to find a place we were staying at, which ironically was called the Hidden House. Since it was a holiday and motorcycles are generally an easier to take vehicle than others, we did ask if we could park our motorcycles inside, which the Hidden House staff thankfully allowed. So we've arrived at our destination. This is the Hidden House. This is where we're gonna be staying here in Montañita. I'm gonna show you what our room is like and also explain exactly how much we paid for it. So follow me. Technically, I guess follow us since we're all going together. So we go this way. They got a lot of nice things over here. Ping pong table, foosball. But we're going over here. Da 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 da. I don't know if that background music that they had playing has copyright, but
I might as well just, you know, my own music. So yeah, we're over here. You go over here. I'm carrying 2 helmets, by the way. So you go upstairs. Up, up, up. Over there's the entrance, the outside, but we're going up. Remember, please clean your feet before going to bed. That should be obvious. Going over here, there's a little place with a view, but we're going up there. That's where our room is. It's the outside. Once again, this was the entrance. We're over here, technically down here. All right, let's go upstairs. One soldier coming back down to Axel. All right, we go up here. This is a little bit trickier because I don't have my hands. Don't let me die. Oh God. Okay, I made it. And we're here. Helmets. No. And this is our room. So this is the room. Is what it looks like. There's a total of 8 beds, even though there's only 7 of us, which I'll explain in a bit.
All right, so as you saw, this is the room that we got, and we got it at around $10 a pop, meaning that there are 8 beds, and there's 7 of us, and each of us are paying around $10.25 in order to use this room. What normally happens in rooms like these, at least with the one that we have, is that different people might come. Like for example, one person will come and they'll grab a bed and they'll rent it out, and it'll be like, I think around $8 to $10. And then another person who doesn't necessarily know the first person will rent out another bed, and so on and so forth until the whole room is filled up. So we got pretty lucky because there's 8 beds here, and they gave us the room even though there's only 7 of us. So we have 1 extra bed. And I mean, I can't speak much for the comfort because there's 2 fans and it's really hot, especially since we were at the beach and we're sunburnt. So, well, kind of, I mean, I use sunscreen, but I still got sunburnt, as you saw with my nose. So it's kind of uncomfortable, but it's still, I guess, better than sleeping outdoors, risking danger or anything of the sort. We just kind of want a place to spend the night because tomorrow morning we'll probably grab some breakfast and then leave. And tonight, of course, we're probably gonna hang around Montañita and see what's up here in the city. So yeah, that's the experience that I had here. I don't think it's a bad place. It's just not my comfort level. So I hope no one thinks that, oh, Ace is saying that this place is bad. It's just not for me. So yeah, I'll see you guys again in a bit when we head out, because I think right now we're tired. I'm literally on like my last battery, but not my phone battery or my camera battery, my personal battery. I literally went to sleep yesterday, well, technically today, at like 1 in the morning, and I had to wake up at around 3:30 in order to head out, well, get changed and head out to go on this trip. So I'm running on like 2 hours of battery and a whole bunch of Ace energy, because without that Ace energy, I'd probably be knocked out. Even my friends are kind of like done. So we're probably gonna rest a few hours and then we'll have the nightlife session. So yeah, I'll see you there when it's nighttime session time. Whoop. Montañita's nightlife is about what you'd expect from a party city. Tons of people, party music in most, if not all areas, and alcohol as far as the eye can see. The only thing strange to me was the surprising lack of pizza.
So we're here at Montañita's downtown section, and we're on the lookout for food, and it is about 9:30 p.m. and the most that we've seen is basically just a bunch of bars. That's the main thing that you're gonna find in this area. Of course, you're gonna find hotels, hostels, and yes, you will find food. But it's funny how we're looking for pizza, family-sized pizza, and the place that we asked just now, they don't have family-sized pizza. It's a very small thing, but just something I wanted to mention. But we're gonna search. We're gonna check here with the squad. I'm just chilling. And let's see what we can find. I'll let you know when we find that pizza.
Yay! We did eventually find a pizza place. We bought 2 pizzas and each pizza cost us $15, since apparently they gave us a deal, probably due to Cleito's negotiation skills. And of course, we split the bill, so we paid $4.30 each. After the pizza and some light exploration, we decided to call it a night. Except we didn't, because it was game time. We started off playing some Jenga, which got almost excessively dramatic.
So this is a very heated match of Jenga. No, we're not competitive, not at all. No. No, chúpalo. We don't mind losing. I can't take the peer pressure anymore. The stress.
At least, the punishments were definitely quite interesting.
You had to break it.
Then we played some good old-fashioned ping pong. And then we called it a night. It's officially the morning of the second day of our trip, and it seems we've run into a bit of an issue. And it's the fact that we don't know exactly where we're gonna spend the night at the next place we're going to. It seems that the place we were originally going to is a bust, and right now we were actually discussing the prices of the possibility of where we're gonna spend the night at.
ver cómo chucha nos acomodamos.
Pero no se lee cuando entra.
5 habitación, 7 huéspedes. Sí.
Y escríbele pues. ¿Dónde encontraste ese chalango? ¿Pero en qué? ¿En qué aplicación?
Airbnb.
No,
en Airbnb.
Por eso hay que buscar en todos lados.
En Airbnb.
Jesus.
In the end, we decided that we're just gonna go and see what place might be the most convenient, because maybe we might find something that we were not seeing online. So we're gonna head over there, but before that, we're gonna have some breakfast. Well, technically, we're gonna skip breakfast and have a late lunch. So join us for that. And thus, we said goodbye to the hidden house and Montañita and went in search of food. And found dancing. All right, so we've made it to the place that we're having lunch. As you can see here, everyone, buen provecho. So everyone's eating, and we're close also to the place that we're going to next, which not that far from here, but before that, unfortunately, someone here is gonna have to leave us. So we have another unfortunate event for this event. unfortunate event for this event, the redundancy. Doesn't matter. Point being that we're gonna eat, and then afterwards, we're gonna head out and leave that person, and then we'll continue on with our trip. Let's go! Oh, and before I forget, I did order ceviche as my lunch, and it comes with rice and chifle. This is $3.50. And one thing that I will say about ceviche, which is something I've always said, it's kind of expensive and they don't serve a lot. Like, I mean, I know it's like lunch, but look, this little dish, it's tiny. So it's not just a here thing. It's something that you're gonna see at various places that sell ceviche. It's not bad, like I said, because that's just the way ceviche is, but I feel like there's always better options. My friends all ordered something different. I think only 3 of us ordered ceviche, but it's like, you know, just something that I'll have against how ceviche is served in general, not specifically here. We'll see how it is in a bit. Play my favorite game. Is it good?
Yo le dije, mira, aquí está el árbol. Y como los 3-4 minutos íbamos bajando por aquí.
Good. Once we finished eating, we refueled our bikes, which cost me another $5, and went on our way to drop off our friend at the bus station. We dramatically waited for our friend, who accompanied her to drop her off in the bus station, to come back, and then we went on our way. Now all that was left was to head to our final destination. Except we decided to take a tiny detour to the town of Puerto Lopez because my friends wanted to show you a little something extra. The view from this area was really nice, and we took some pictures, but we couldn't stick around long because we still had to find a place to stay and we needed to continue with the rest of our activities. We luckily only had to drive a few minutes since we were very close and made it to Salango. We finally were gonna be able to visit the island that my friends were really psyched to check out. Or so we thought, because our issue earlier of finding a place to stay quickly haunted us here. We searched the area, asked locals, and even checked every place that looked like a place to stay, and nothing. We couldn't find a place to stay. At least I did take a cool dramatic pic and drank some mineral water. Yay! We were frustrated, and when all hope was lost, we quickly bounced back with a bold idea. We were going to have to cut our trip short and go back driving on our motorcycles that same night. Was that the right choice? We wouldn't know until later. But for now, we had an island to visit. We quickly boarded the vessel and were on our way to see what the island was all about.
Cuando vayamos a hacer el snorkel, hermano, tú agarras tu celular porque ahí me da miedo que se vaya a caer. Cuando se le cae la creo que anda al lado de por vida.
Something that was really cool, aside from this amazing shot, is that we were able to go to the front of the boat, which was a lot scarier to do when you're holding onto your phone, but still scary without it. Just look at Cleito trying to get over to where I was.
Captain Jack Sparrow. Hay que ir acá al infinito.
Yes. Just
So, we're going to that island over there. Vamos a la isla, ¿verdad?
yes.
Island. On the boat ride. The boys. Yeah, so we're on the way to this island, and I have no idea what to expect. Supposedly we're gonna do snorkeling, right?
Yes.
So we're gonna do snorkeling, and it's just gonna show you what that's like. If it's a good experience, great recommendation. If it's not, then we'll see. And also, for my anime fans, I feel like Luffy here at the front of the boat. King of the pirates! You're talking about love, love, love. ¿Qué sienten estando aquí, muchachos?
No parece Ecuador.
This really does take us away from the reality we live in the country. You almost don't, you can't imagine that something bad is happening here. But our country is beautiful too. Never forget that. Look at all this. All this beauty. All of it is in Ecuador. So, there are bad things, but there are good things too.
After the boat took us close enough to the island, which looked undoubtedly beautiful, our guide had a few words for all of us.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Manolo. I'm gonna be your tour guide today in Talang.
Arsi, ready?
Hello, everybody. My name is Manolo. I'm a tour guide, and we are in Talango right now. Tango Island belongs to Puerto Lopez and the south area of Manabí. We are ready to practice snorkeling. There is a coral reef area here, and we are ready to explore. So join us, please.
Let's go. All right, gonna go snorkeling, see what it's like. Wish me luck.
And indeed, my friends and I did some snorkeling, or something as close to snorkeling as possible. We swam a ton. We messed around. And then we swam some more right back to the ship.
How was your snorkeling experience?
It was good, just very complicated because that was the first time I've officially snorkeled. And when you put on this snorkeling mask, it covers your nose. And if you're not used to that, it feels really, really weird. So it was hard to breathe. Like when you got your breath and went underwater, it felt kind of like suffocating at first. But then the more I tried it, the easier it became. So it was good. It was just kind of difficult for me at first.
We advanced on our trip. Well, I relaxed on the ship.
Relax.
That rhymes. And then we saw something quite incredible.
¡Mario, tus hermanos!
Okay, but being serious, these were the sea lions that lived around this area. They all looked super cozy and cute. But of course, we weren't allowed to get near them because one, it wasn't allowed, and two, they are apparently known to be more violent than their counterpart, the seals. Or so we were told. After observing these wonderful creatures for a while, we continued around the island to a final location where we were given some more time to swim, and swim we did.
Un león marino. Ahí está en su hábitat natural. A la 3. 1, 2, 3. Llegué de la barbería. Bonito y bello. Yo creo que se escucha el club. Todo el agua del mar no me alcanza.
But after all that fun swimming, it was finally time to head back to shore. When we got back, the view was beautiful. As I was saying, the view was beautiful, but we had to make haste because it was getting dark, and we needed to make it back home.
So after enjoying ourselves, our trip to that island over here in Talango, now we have our final challenge, which is going back home because unfortunately we were unable to find a place to stay at tonight. So let's see what that's like and hope we make it back home safe and sound. Wish us luck.
And luck was definitely going to be something we needed on our way back because as we advanced through the darkness of the night, we saw how the once picturesque landscapes turned into something out of a horror movie. So much so that we needed to stop to make an important decision. Would we go back the way we came originally and risk the possibilities of there being fog on that road? Or would we go through the perpetually dark but shorter path with the slightly nicer roads? After some deliberation, we went for the latter of the two options. Thankfully, my friends had motorcycles with really good lights because those roads were nightmarishly dark. It really didn't help that my friends told me a story that most travelers tell when driving on dark roads, which is that if you're alone on a vehicle, like I was, you sometimes feel a chill and get accompanied by a passenger, and when that happens, no matter what, you cannot look back. If you look back, it's game over and you're never heard from again. Thankfully, that never happened to me, and the worst thing that did happen was that our friend had some dirt hit him in the eye, so we had to stop to take care of that.
Just a reminder, it is 8:15 p.m. on a Saturday, and on this roadside, there's this store open at this time when they could easily be enjoying the weekend. So never say people don't work hard enough. People work plenty hard.
The rest of the path was really calm, and after enough driving, we were back in our city, Puerto Viejo. And since we made it back safe and sound and had some money we saved from not spending the night, we decided to celebrate with a victory meal.
Alright, so the trip definitely did not go as planned. We didn't stay in Salango and we ended up coming back to our home city, which is of course Puerto Viejo. And with the money that we saved from not going to stay at a place over in Salango, we got ourselves some dinner. Dinner time. We have a lot to talk about later. So enjoy this meal and talk to you soon. This cost $8.50, so pretty expensive, but definitely served a lot, so definitely worth it. Although all my friends think I eat like a beast now because I told them that this wasn't enough for me. So yeah.
Now, no adventure of mine can truly be over without a cost analysis, and some final thoughts of course. So as we look back on some of the scenes from this trip, let's see if we went over our $70 budget. In terms of transportation, we only ever used our motorcycles, and I ended up filling my motorcycle with gas twice, equaling up to $10. When it came to food, this might be where we spent most of our money. Even before the trip began, I had bought 2 bags of chifle for a total of $1. We ate breakfast for $3 on the first day, $3 for lunch on that same day, ate $30 worth of pizza for dinner, which we split of course, meaning it was only $4.30. Then the next day we had lunch for $3.50. I drank some mineral water for $1, and to end it all off, we had our victory meal, and my specific dish cost $8.50. Adding all that up, the total spent on food for the whole trip was $24.30. Rent ended up being cheaper than expected since we only stayed one night in one place, and the cost for that was $10. We ended up doing 2 main fun time activities. One was the banana, which only cost $2.50, and the other was the boat ride and snorkeling experience in Salango, which cost us $15. So for activities, we spent $17.50. Then of course we had a few miscellaneous expenses, such as the $2 for the parking lot in Ayangue, 25 cents to use the bathroom, $1 to both shower and get some soap, and then there was the 70 cents that we each had to pitch in for the parasol on the beach. Adding up all the miscellaneous expenses, we get a total of $3.95. So the grand total for our holiday adventure was $65.75. Not bad for all the things we did. But that does lead me to my final thoughts. First, I definitely can say that this is not exactly replicable. In fact, I was pretty much coincidentally invited and by friends who just happened to be in a motorcycle group. That meant that they not only had the gear, but they also had the knowledge, which even included a system of signals and constant communication with the leader of the group to ensure that all was well and that we were constantly getting updated information. Then of course you can't overlook the fact that we got a lot of things for prices that I don't think everyone would get. Being gringoed is not an urban legend, and for some foreigners, the things we got for cheap might have cost double what they cost us. For example, something similar happened when my friend Mark Horning wanted to rent a room at a hotel, and when he looked it up, it cost him more than when I went to check in person. Because of that, I booked it for him to get it cheaper. That's why my tip here is to have a native help you out to make sure you're getting official Ecuadorian prices. And the last thing I'd really have to say is that you have to think about your comfort when it comes to a trip like this. Budgeting is important, of course, but if it comes at the cost of comfort, is it really worth it? Maybe we would have spent more taking a bus, but we wouldn't have had to drive. Maybe we would have paid $5 or $10 or more to get a more expensive hotel room, but it may have had air and we might have been able to have our own rooms. And don't get me wrong, of course I had fun, but I know that not everyone has fun the same way. But if you'd like to see another day we had a ton of fun and at a cheap price, then definitely check out this video next, where me and my friends show you how we had fun at the fair for a price you might not expect.